Well, welcome, my friends, to the show that never ends. And yes, I'm in my Wycombe shirt, books behind, not a football pitch, and I'm afraid no Kieran again. Kieran will be with us next week, I promise. It's Monday morning, in fact, not Sunday evening. This is why Kieran's not here, he's working. The time I got back last night from Milton Keynes, it was getting way too late. It was all that we just didn't go home. Having been allowed into the stadium at MK Dons, that was difficult enough. It was like sort of, trying to get out of prison was trying to get into MK Dons. Getting a ticket for 2,000 people was shocking. I don't know whether any of you have seen the pictures, the way they split the fans up into two sections way up in the top two corners to try and keep us quiet. Didn't work, I don't think. It's difficult to tell when you're up there what the players can hear from that area with the sort of the audio. It was flipping noisy for me up there. I never stopped. My voice, I'm in trouble this morning. Just never stopped. 90 minutes of shouting, singing, clapping from the Wycombe fans. If they ever talk about Wycombe having the crowd being the 12th player, then that was certainly yesterday. I know that much. It was funny to be clapping and singing and jumping up and down with that, because Wycombe, if anybody watched it, was on the back foot for 90 minutes. Well, 95 with extra time. As you see, I still have a problem. It was a strange game. Their manager said that, I think this morning he gave a chat, and he was saying that again they were the better side because, and he gave the reason, they had more chances. But over the two legs, Wycombe had more goals. And what are you counting? I don't think I've ever seen two styles so separated as I did yesterday. Often Wycombe's style of play doesn't stand out as being so different because the opposition aren't very good. You have to say Milton Keynes, yeah, whatever he says, they did play flipping well. They were good. Felt a little bit sorry for... No, I don't. They were good. The only thing is that half that team are on loan. And if you see where they come from, so they should be. And their main players up front, bar the main player up front, you got the... They played a... They played a 3-4-1-2 system. Their goalkeeper is on loan. The back three are theirs. But then in the midfield, the guy on the right, Kessler, is their sort of right wing back. He's on loan and he'll be going back. And he was good. I thought he was a real danger man. You got the guy next to him, Coventry, and then up front, in front of him, you had the sort of the playmaker Kabinu, who is on loan, and in front of him you got Parrott and Twine. Twine being their main man, and Parrott, who scored the goal, is on loan. So I think this MK Dons has gone. The MK Dons fans will not see them again. That team is finished. Wycombe played a 4-2-3-1. Difficult. I mean, how do you judge the players on yesterday's game? Very difficult. In the first 15 minutes, McCarthy worried the whatsits out of me. He was taken apart. He was in real trouble. And I think McCleary in front of him wasn't doing him any favours in helping in any foot. He looked knackered coming onto the pitch. I think the 2 weeks before the final, he needs it. McCleary, he did not look himself. It wasn't what he did up front, because let's make this clear, Wycombe hardly ever crossed the halfway line. But when they did, he wasn't much, and he couldn't hold on to anything, and Wycombe were desperate to hold on to something. But he never helped. He wasn't a help to McCleary very much, I don't think. I don't want, very difficult to criticise Wycombe's players after yesterday. That I'm just finding little holes, really, because I'm doing this and sort of giving you a clue about what I saw. Horgan, I thought, had a really good game, and he, like the rest of the team, well, that included McCarthy, he did work his socks off. Just worried me, working his socks off. Horgan worked his socks off as well. Horgan was everywhere, and working on the theory that he works next to McCleary, maybe I judge how much McCleary should be doing based on Horgan. I don't know. Gape, I also thought, showed one or two little holes. You see, the problem is, in the first half, we obviously had this setup, the normal setup, ready to go over that halfway line. The snaggies we hardly ever did. But if we did, Milton Keynes were too good, and they could stick the ball straight through our midfield, and the ball kept ending up in front of our defence, having just taken the midfield apart. They like they hadn't been there, and it was just coming straight at us the whole time, straight at us. And it was a question of when they were going to score a goal. And the sad thing is, the goal they scored was crap. It wasn't even a good goal. I mean, the goal they scored was, I mean, all goals tend to be, no, that's not true. 80% of goals are errors at the back. I mean, that's the whole point. You wouldn't get many goals if it wasn't down to errors. And Stewart, I'm afraid, didn't step up when he was supposed to, and left them all onside behind him. And that was their goal. Disappointing, that goal. Half time, Ainsworth changed it, and he shoved them all back. And the people around me, you could hear them saying, press, get up, press them. Why don't you press them? Just letting them come in at the wall. And no, if they'd done that, Milton Keynes would have taken us apart. It's dangerous playing this whole brick wall in front of the goal. And whenever you see it on TV, when you see a team like, I don't know, like Burnley do it, or Crystal Palace do it, or so, when they play Manchester City or something, and you just see Manchester City or Liverpool banging this wall, you think they will get through. We know they will get through. They've got 90 minutes to get through. And this was the same for Wycombe. You kept thinking, after they got the first, they will get through. Bang, bang, bang. But the difference is that although Milton Keynes are very good, they're not Manchester City, they're not Liverpool, they're not Chelsea, they're not Arsenal, they're Milton Keynes. And the other difference is Wycombe are Wycombe, they're not Crystal Palace, and they're not Burnley. And I think there isn't a better team that can do what Wycombe do. They praised the goalkeeper. They reckon he had a brilliant game, was Golden Glove and all this stuff, Stockdale. He had a good game, didn't he? He was very good. You cannot fault what he did at all. He was spot on. But I don't think it was because of the goalkeeper they didn't score. He was one of 11 reasons they didn't score. And I will say McCarthy got better, thank goodness for that, after that first bit. And because he was exposed in front of him and just ended up being the one player with them coming at, that once Gareth Ainsworth had sort of packed it in there a bit tighter, it worked for him. It helped him. Jacobson, in the end, on the whole game, if there was one moment, there was a terrific move by MK that got through the whole of the Wycombe wall, and it left the player, the guy in the box with the ball facing Mr. Goalkeeper, was going to score, no doubt. And from behind, in comes Jacobson with a sliding tackle that was so dodgy, could have so easily given a penalty, but had to be 100% and was 100% good. And here we are. We're at Wembley. Wycombe, do we deserve it? Do we deserve it is one of the questions I always ask. Yeah, over the two games, we deserved it. We can play two different sorts of football. We went out and we attacked at Wycombe and we got our 2 goals. We went out, MK Dons packed it in and didn't let them score 2 goals. What else do you want? That's it. Isn't that it? We didn't have to win there. We could afford to lose or draw there, but just not 2 goals. And that's exactly what we did. And their fans can jump up and down all they like about being the better team, but they weren't. That was only the second half, as they kept reminding us online. So Wycombe won the first half, and the first half was where the game was won. And thank goodness we got 2 goals at Wycombe. Not sure what would have. Well, we do know what would have happened had we only scored 1. It would have gone to penalties, I think, because I don't think they still would have got through in another 30 minutes. Would have gone to penalties. What would have happened in the penalty shootout? Who knows? Who knows? Have a look at one of our previous on penalties and how they work them out, etc. Tafazoli, I don't want to pick players out because they were so good. But again, Tafazoli, wow, what a tank. That should be his nickname. He should be called the Tank. I think he is a tank. You don't get past him. You don't go running past the Tank. He is brilliant. He is brilliant. Please, can I suggest, if anybody's really that interested in nutrition and looking after yourself, etc., as a footballer, or interested in what they do, take a look at Tafazoli's own blog on YouTube. Fascinating to see. He actually wears a little microphone under his football shirt, and so he records him chatting away during the game or shouting at. And also shows how he prepares for games and relaxes after games and brings himself down, etc. I think it's really interesting. But then what else to say other than Ainsworth, don't go anywhere else. We couldn't afford not to play with a team like this. That's the thing. We play to our strengths. We play to our money strengths. This is how we have to play football to survive not only survive, I might add, but be a success in this league. If you want us to play happy clappy football, which people keep pointing a finger and suggesting we should, we'd be in Division 2 or lower. We can't do it with this team. This is how we win games. And they might moan and groan about it. I love it. Although I can't honestly say I enjoyed that 90 minutes. That 90 minutes up in the stands yesterday was I don't know what to say. Was I nervous? I felt like it was coming at me that whole time. I do hope these players. I bet these players are desperate to go on holiday now because, but they've got a final. They've got a final, and who are we meeting? Well, you're probably going to look at this after we find out who we're meeting. Sunderland or Sheffield Wednesday? Who's going to put their money on who? That's as good as a 0-0 still. To be honest, nobody's won that game yet. There's not a great advantage being 1-0 because it's the next goal that'll count. And if Sheffield Wednesday score it, I think Sheffield Wednesday win. If Sunderland score it, Sunderland win. And it is, I think that's first goal counts tonight. But we'll see. Who do I want to play? I said at the beginning, I wanted Sheffield Wednesday in the final. And I'll stick to that. I want Sheffield Wednesday in the final. It's going to be, I mean, the fact is that we came sixth, and there's a reason we came sixth, and that was because we deserved to come sixth. Same reason why MK Dons deserved to come third, because they deserved to come third. But we've knocked them out, and we aren't the best team, but we know we can do it. We got the best manager, and we know we can do it. And that mentality is the mentality of Wycombe, is what's always stood out for many years, ever since Ainsworth's been there, and it's what wins us football matches as well. And we know that. You've only got to look at any football to recognise the difference mentality can make in winning streaks, losing streaks, blah blah blah. So much is up here as well as up what's at your feet. If it was about what your skill rate was, then there would be no point playing football, and Ipswich should have been up at the top. But it's not that. It's not that so much as about mentality as well, and that it comes down to Mr. Manager, a lot of that. And we have a great manager. Do not go to Blackburn. Do not go to QPR. Your job will last a year and a half at most, and then you'll be out of a job. Stay at Wycombe, where you can stay, in my book, as long as you like. And I'll see out my days with you as manager. I'm quite happy with that. What do Milton Keynes do? Well, the first thing Milton Keynes has got to do is take that bloody ridiculous Dons off the end, because that is an insult. I've read all the sort of write-ups people have done, and they, calling them the plastics and all this sort of stuff because of the way they were formed, etc. They got to get rid of that. They got to get rid of that, and they got to remove that title, Dons, apologise. Problem is the owner is the owner. And when he's happy to do things like not hand out tickets to Wycombe fans because he's scared, then and because he's trying to play those sort of games, and then people have the nerve about Wycombe playing games on the football pitch. Well, they're absolutely ridiculous. I'm sorry, MK Dons. No, it's MK. And do you know, there were 13,000 people in that stadium yesterday. It was more than half empty still for a game like that. And I believe they played Liverpool not that long ago, and they still couldn't fill the stadium, I think they got 27,000 out of 30. They still have 3,000 spare seats because they can't even fill it playing Liverpool. What? No, I'm MK Dons. No, that leaves a sour taste in your mouth. Okay, Sheffield Wednesday. Hopefully, then here we come to Wembley. See you at Wembley, and next week we will do the one about the rating goals and what they're worth. And just to give you a little clue, for instance, this suggests that the goal Parrott scored yesterday was worth absolutely adding it to your goal scoring rate is pointless because it was worth nothing. It got them nowhere. Okay, thank you very much and see you next week.